Welcome everybody to the A Little Less Fear podcast. I'm your host for the show, Dr. Lino Martinez. Oh yeah. Welcome everybody to the A Little Less Fear podcast. Today I'm super duper excited to introduce Selket as an Selket. Welcome to my show, Selket, tarot card reader Selket. The reason she's on my show is to push people to go towards their life's purpose, towards their goals, which is actually my purpose for the show as well. I need the audience to know that I've had several tarot card readings and Selket was on point. I mean, I've probably had at least 7 tarot card readings in my life, which isn't that much compared to some other people that I've met, but it's enough for me to know that she's onto something. It's something really important. And after having a reading from her, I have felt a spiritual lift. I have felt more guided, and if that's a word, guided, right? Yeah, I feel more at peace and with my direction in life and where I'm going. So I just want to say thank you very much, Selket, and welcome to my show.
Thanks for having me. You're so welcome. That's awesome. I love hearing that you guys are getting so much from these readings. I really try to put a lot of energy into it because I know, it's not something that's accessible to a lot of people, like mental and spiritual health. So I'm glad you're getting some positive.
Yeah. So, in Discover, I really want to know how your journey started. What got your career started? People who are good at what they do is because they're a natural at it and they love it and there's passion involved. So I'm really curious to know what got your career started. How did it start? Tell the audience about your journey.
So my journey was in several stages, like most people. I've always been pretty sensitive, clairvoyant. But the difference I feel like is, when you're younger, no one wants to listen to you, so I had to go through a lot of, backlash from the stuff that I was saying. I call myself a trigger. And if you're unfamiliar with that term, we're all triggers, we're all mirrors, we're all here to help each other learn and grow. But when you have that type of energy where you're a trigger, you tend to disrupt people's foundation of their core beliefs from something you say. And it may not even be intentional. It can just be like a thought you have and you speak it out, and people can get really mad at you for saying something that contradicts what they identify themselves with so much. So that was kind of a reoccurring experience for me when I was young. A lot of people getting pissed off at me for stuff I was saying that I wasn't even trying to hurt their feelings. I was making an observation. I didn't realize at that point I was channeling. So being that type of a child and then having my type of trauma I've had in my childhood, it became, a huge passion of mine to help people heal, because I just felt like I just hated seeing people suffering so much for things that I saw. And I'm just like, all you gotta do is do this. And it's, it's so
right.
And when you're younger, things are so much more simple and clear to you without all the extra emotions of all,
it's a little more natural when you're younger.
Yeah, it's so much easier to tap into. So things are way clearer for me, then. But I was always getting shut down a lot and put in my place because I was younger. And a lot of the people in my family, they were struggling with so much trauma. And I was just seeing it being passed down to everybody, and I just really wanted to help stop that, not with just in my own family, within other people's family, or just help people have more self-awareness, from the pain that I've experienced. I'm not sure if you've seen, did you find me on YouTube or were you referred? I don't know.
I was referred to you. Yes. I was referred. Yeah. And then I started following you on Instagram, but I'm sorry, I have not had the chance to even, I didn't even know you had a YouTube channel. You want to tell us about it?
It's all good. Well, my YouTube, I started that last year. It's actually coming, well, the 5th, yesterday was my year anniversary. And
Congratulations. That's
thank
awesome.
you. Thank you. And it turned into something I was not expecting to enjoy so much, like, the core of my readings on YouTube deal more with like healing, like shadow work or traumas or karma. A lot of people have issues around moving forward within their own healing because they don't understand or grasp that karma is real and it exists,
That is
and
beyond true.
so I feel like a lot of people have such a hard time moving on from their pain because they're like, well, what about this person and what they did to me? And they can't move forward and understand that no one gets away with nothing. Like no one gets away with anything. Whatever you put out, you have to reap, whether it's good or bad. And I wanted to shine that light onto people because I was also seeing misinformation. I consider it misinformation. And I don't know if this is because it's my own personal beliefs or how you want to categorize it, but I love watching psychology channels. I love learning about all types of, behavioral stuff.
Right.
I'm an observer. I love observing people and the way they are. But I remember watching this one psychology channel and they were saying that narcissists don't ever experience karma because there's no self-awareness. And I just felt that was so detrimental to people who have been through narcissistic abuse.
Yeah.
Because it's like, dang, like, so these people are just getting away with, doing that. And I was just like,
I don't agree with that though.
Me neither. I don't.
No.
And my life experiences showed me otherwise, Is that a cat?
That's my cat getting in the way. I'm so sorry. Felix, get down, boy. Sorry about that.
Is your cat named Phoenix?
Felix, like Felix
the cat.
I
thought you said Phoenix. I'm like, oh my God.
Felix.
I think we're soul family.
Felix the cat.
I love that too. I forgot what we were saying.
So yeah, we were talking about, I personally don't believe that. I believe that if you're a narcissist, you're definitely going to have karma. And if you're not aware of it in this life, you're going to be aware of it in your future lives. It's going to hit you. I mean, karma happens whether you're aware of it or not.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, I can't believe she said that. And she had such a huge platform. And I just felt like that was so detrimental to people, like thinking that, okay. And sometimes, it's easy to believe that because we are living that person's life. We're not in their shoes. We don't know what they're feeling inside. And sometimes we cut these people out of our lives and we don't even see what happens to them. So you're stuck in that pain almost. You're kind of frozen in that, and I wanted my channel to help unfreeze people. Like I wanted
Do you
to
find
help
that
them.
Are you starting to see some of that happen?
For sure. I've had a pretty, and because I'm unaware of YouTube and like I haven't been on it that long. Mm-hmm. From what other people are telling me, I've had a pretty, like my progress on there is like an anomaly. Like it usually takes people like 12 years to get like anybody to even go to their channel. So my channel has been doing pretty well. I'm on my first year and I have 3,000 subscribers and probably about, thank you. I probably about, and I know people probably look at my Instagram and be like, well, you already have, like but that stuff doesn't translate at all.
I agree with you.
Totally it is not.
Right. I
feel like a lot of people, they have that wrong impression when they go from different platforms. Oh, well, my people will just follow me over there, and it does not happen that way.
Right, it's totally different.
So
what can you tell our audience that you've learned so far in your career? That's a pretty awesome career you've got going right now, helping people. I mean, that's especially.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. What have you learned so far?
That you can overcome anything.
Yes, yes.
You can really overcome anything. And I feel like people don't give themselves credit, enough. And I love that my channel is doing that. Like it's giving people, that realization, like, wait a second, this doesn't have to stop me. This doesn't have to, these traumatic experiences don't have to define, where my life is headed. It can empower me. And that's what I want my channel to do, is to help people be empowered by what they went through. Because everybody has gone through trauma. I don't feel like anyone exists in this world, in this society, being in a colonial society, experiencing just white supremacy. There's no way you have not been traumatized on any level. So yeah, I think that's, and also I want people to learn too. What I've learned is, like, you all can do this. What I do, you all have that ability. I'm not like doing anything that's too special. You guys can everyone can heal and have this ability to be able to see that guidance within themselves clearly, and I'm still a work in progress. I haven't even gotten where, I'm still growing. So,
well, we're growing every day, right?
Yeah, for real. But yeah, I think that's like the biggest thing I've learned with my journey so far with this career, just in life, like in general.
What are you enjoying the most about your career so far?
So I'm an empath. I think I don't know if I said that, but I'm an empath. I'm clairvoyant. And
do you mind explaining to our audience what empath and clairvoyant means?
So empath is basically someone who's hypersensitive, and I can pretty much be in the same space as someone and feel what they're going through emotionally. That's
very, very, very powerful. And I can imagine that could be draining as well too.
Oh my God. So draining. I had to, that was my reservation with reading with people. I just recently started offering over the phone readings and like Zoom readings, because before not doing that, because we did ours by email, right? That's my protection. That's my protection from absorbing too much of what's happening with you guys. But since I've been doing this now, I've gotten pretty good with blocking it out. So I might, once a pandemic is over, I might do in person, because I've been able to kind of release pretty quickly now. But an empath is someone who can basically pick up the energy of people around them, the room. Like, we are able to pick up on information that you can't gather through like the logical brain. I know that sounds like that might be triggering for some people who don't believe in, who are like, I'm all in science, because it's like they don't want to acknowledge that there's a spiritual part of stuff. And then clairvoyant. So there's different types of spiritual gifts that we all can possess or have. Some are stronger than others. Actually, I have a video on my YouTube that you can check out and see which ones are your strongest spiritual gifts. It's a free reading for anyone who's interested. But so clairaudience, sorry, I don't know if you want me to stop because the
sirens?
You hear that? Yeah. Do you want me to wait?
No big deal. You still sound pretty clear.
But so there's clairaudience. That's like you can hear like your spirit guides. Sometimes it comes in clear sentences. Sometimes it can come in the form of like even like songs, or like you'll hear something stand out in a song. That'll be like your spirit guide speaking to you, or it can be through other people too. Like you can talk to somebody and they can be talking to you that way too. I'm going to butcher all the names because there's like 5 of them, but there's one where you can smell. It's connected to your smell. Clairicent.
You mean where like all of a sudden you'll randomly smell roses type thing and there aren't any roses around?
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Like I would smell fire a lot sometimes.
Wow.
Before
okay.
like and then I also smell, that's like the most random gift, though it doesn't happen consistently. When someone passes away that was close to me, if they had an identifiable scent, I'll smell it when they're around me. Like
a cologne or a perfume or
like
wow, that's really awesome.
It's kind of creepy.
Really?
And one of my gifts is, and I'm resistant to it because I have a memory of a past life. Excuse me. I have a memory of a past life where the gift terrified me. If you had a past life where your gifts were overwhelming for you, in your current life, you'll suppress it. So if there's fear connected to it. And I have a pretty intense connection to the dead. But I block out the ability to see them because that freaks me out. So
do you think you will ever accept that part of your gift in the future, that maybe you need to build up to it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to.
You know how like right now you're saying that that you kind of had to build up to, you're building up to the point where you'll be able to take other people's energy and it not affect you as much. So maybe in the future you'll be accepting that if you do have these visions or you see them, it'll be more of a welcoming thing rather than a block. If you're able to, I don't know. I'm just thinking.
You're totally right. And yes, I want to do that. I want to build that up. I'm opening myself up to it more and more. I still have moments where I get like, because I have pretty bad anxiety. So anytime I go through that physical reaction, it's just so off-putting for me to even go forward with it.
I can imagine.
So yeah, and because I get physical contact with them a lot, which
like
is
a
weird.
Touch on the shoulder or maybe like on the back of your hair or something like that.
Yeah, they'll touch me. It feels like pinpricks.
Oh, wow, okay.
On your body. Yeah. I've had 2 entities try to possess me. So that was not fun. Like they tried to jump into my body and that was really a weird experience. So that freaked me out. And then I had a really close friend of mine. She, her house was built on top of a graveyard.
What? So that's like the movie Poltergeist.
I'm like, okay, that's cool. So I would go to her house and get all kinds of physical contact there. It was so weird. And they would just be in there laughing because they were used to it. It was like normal to them. So
what do you enjoy the most about having this gift? I got to tell you, my mom often tells me, because she kind of has similar gifts and she's not a fan of it. So, I mean, I can tell that you enjoy doing what you're doing. And I'm wondering, what do you enjoy the most out of this?
Helping people.
Yeah, that's what awesome. I'm so glad you're doing this. Really, this is beautiful.
Thanks,
darling.
Yeah, but I do enjoy helping people. When I was young, that was like, people would ask me, what do you want to do for a living? And I still remember telling them, like, I want to help people heal. That was like such a bizarre answer to give as a child. Like, and I didn't even.
That is.
Like, but, and for a while, because my family's so like against, in my family, there's a lot of high achievers. You need to be a doctor. You need to do this, you don't do any art stuff, even though everyone in my family, they're artists, but they've all suppressed that side to them. And, hold on a second. And like, I thought for a second, it was like, oh, let me try to be a doctor or a nurse, Yeah. And I was in school for so long and I just didn't like it. I got a degree in natural science and I just didn't want to go further with it. Like, I was just like, this isn't the kind of healing I want to do, So
right.
Tarot was like, it just fits so perfectly. I love it so much. I love hearing people stepping into their power. I love hearing people having more confidence. I love hearing people like getting out of that victimhood mentality. And
yeah, that's huge.
So that's what I love about it. It kind of outweighs the bad. So.
And how has tarot card reading helped you?
Well, it's helped me with my own healing. Because it kind of gives you an understanding why you went through what you did. Because I wouldn't have the insight I have if I didn't go through all that trauma, and I used to be kind of resentful towards my life, to be honest. I used to be very like bitter, like I am not a bad person. Why the hell am I going through all this terrible stuff? I couldn't understand. You know, I really genuinely tried to be a good person. I didn't try to take advantage of people. And it just felt like the world was shitting on me. Sorry, can I cuss? I don't know if
Sure. Yeah, go ahead. You're fine.
It just felt that way. And it wasn't probably until like my YouTube channel, honestly, like I had an understanding of it with my Instagram, but honestly, the readings that were most popular with Instagram were like my new moon and full moon readings.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until YouTube where I got more into like more healing work with people. And that it wasn't until then where I realized like, oh my God, that's why I went through all this. Like now I can show them that light at the end of the tunnel, you know,
exactly.
like, so it's helped me a lot with healing. It's helped me so much. And it's funny too, because a lot of times you guys, when I do readings for you guys, it's like we attract each other at the perfect time, because usually you ask me questions that I'm also asking myself. It's so funny how that always works out that way, you know? And yeah,
that really shows, that really proves to show that we're all connected.
Yeah, we are so connected. And, you know, it's nice to have that kind of being constantly reaffirmed with you guys when I connect with you guys, you know, because it can feel lonely when you're on this road of healing, because it's something you have to do on your own, really, you know?
Right.
And connecting with you guys and hearing the similarities in our journeys is so comforting, you know, it's soothing.
It is soothing. So what can you tell people who are struggling to start their career, or who are struggling in their careers right now, that are feeling kind of lost and not knowing what to do, or questioning themselves, overly questioning themselves, whether or not this is the career for them?
I think the best way to figure out what career path would be most aligned with you is to first focus on your healing before making that decision. Because there is so much clouding your thinking around what it is you think that you want and what you want to achieve, that if you're in that mind state, if you have that narrative going on, it's going to distort your choices. You know, it's going to distort your perception of what's going to bring you fulfillment and happiness, you know, because you can have an idea of who you are, but if you haven't gone through that trauma and healing to see how other people's stuff has impacted you and shifted the way you see yourself, you won't ever be able to actually see yourself for who you really are, you know, and you won't have that clarity around what career path is meant for you. So I would tackle that first.
Oh yeah, and that makes sense. Totally.
You know, so, you know, after you get that out the way, it becomes really easy to see what you enjoy, because you don't have all that judgment and trauma that you picked up, you know, on yourself. You're more tapped into your own joy and your happiness. So it's easy to follow the direction of that, you know? So
Selket, you're I love how you speak. I can tell that you're natural at what you do. And so I'm curious to know what gives you passion, what drives you, what keeps you motivated, what gets your what's the fire that lights you up? What is that?
This is gonna sound so like basic.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Honestly, my birth chart.
Yeah, how is that basic? That's not basic.
I honestly feel like I didn't really understand why I am like this until I looked at my birth chart, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's why I'm like this. Like,
so what makes you passionate? What keeps you going?
You know, all of my my sun sign is in Scorpio. My Mercury's in Scorpio. I have all these very intense, passionate signs in the placements of my chart that drive my actions and my passions. So that has a huge part to it. But I don't know how much you know about like signs, or.
I know a little bit.
What's your sign?
I'm a Capricorn.
Oh,
I'm actually a Capricornus. I am January 19th, and that is the last day of Capricorn. So I'm literally
wow.
a half Capricorn, half Aquarius. Yeah,
You
Capricornus.
Capricornus. That's
Yeah.
so cute.
And then my Chinese sign, I'm a goat. So I'm actually double earth and double goat.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Double grounded. Yeah.
Double grounded.
Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Man, that's so interesting. It's weird.
Yeah.
I've been aligning with a lot of Aquarius to Capricorns lately. You're probably like the fourth one I've
What? I never even
connected
meet
with.
people my sign, so we're all
I
meant
never
to.
meet Capricorns or Aquariuses either. It's so weird
That
that
must
it's
be a sign for sure.
something shifting.
Yeah, exactly. Something is shifting. So what motivates you on a daily basis though?
On
Like
a
for
daily
example, some
basis.
people need their coffee, some people need to work out, some people need to meditate, some people need to light candles. I mean, what's like a motivation for you during the day?
So you'll probably relate to this because you're a Capricornus. But my midhaven is in Capricorn, which is what brings me the most satisfaction in life. And that is setting a goal and accomplishing it.
Right.
Like that's literally like I wake up and I'll have like my little goals. And that brings me so much satisfaction just within that, or and I
You're
think it's
funny.
just
That's
seeing
exact. I do that every night when I go to bed. I'll have my goals for the next day, and then the morning I'll look through them, and then at the end of the day I reach them all. So yeah,
Mhm.
you're right
Brings
on,
you
man.
so much happiness, huh?
It does. I mean, I'm laughing and I'm smiling. Yes, it does.
So that's a huge motivating factor for me. And then you can
It
add all
is.
that other stuff. But I like accomplishing what I set out to do. And you can add that to the whole because Scorpios, um, is it still there? Okay. Scorpios are considered, each sign has their own kind of purpose. Capricorns are about accomplishment, they're about achievement. They are the CEOs. Yeah, they're the CEOs of the
Raise
zodiac.
the roof.
If you want if you have like a career or a job or a project, you want a Capricorn on your team. You want a
Thank you.
Capricorn by
Thank
your
you. Thank you.
side because they will get the job done.
Oh yeah. We get
Like
the job
Capricorn,
did. What are you talking about?
yeah, exactly, did. They'll be like, forget your feelings, get to work, do that,
Yeah.
get it done. And I respect that about Capricorns a lot. They're the ones who I work with. I always get my projects completed.
Excellent.
So
That's for
yeah.
sure.
So that drives me for sure. And the whole aspect of I have so much Scorpio in my chart. Scorpio's objective is we're like the shamans of the zodiac. So we help people confront their shadows. We help people confront what is blocking them from stepping into their higher purpose. That's the whole, and a lot of people
That's
misunderstand
beautiful.
Scorpio energy because it's dark, it has you look at the uncomfortable.
Mhm.
So
But
a
it's
lot of
the
people,
uncomfortable where change needs to occur. Because
exactly.
that's whatever you resist, that's where the answer is.
Yep. And a lot of people are resisting, a lot of people are resisting doing that. So I feel like people have a tendency to misunderstand Scorpio energy. I just learned recently that we're called the gatekeepers of hell.
Wow. Well, I guess it did. Okay. I don't know what to say about
And
that.
I'm just like, at first I was like, that's a horrible name. But then I was like, you know what? I get it because we are like the gatekeepers to your own personal hell. Like we show you what is
Oh,
creating your personal hell,
that
you
makes
know?
sense. That
And I'm
totally
like,
makes sense.
yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's tight now.
That is really tight.
But
Wow.
I'm just, yeah. So those are my motivations. I like to have goals and I like to help people with their healing. So that's what
Thank you.
drives me. So sorry for that roundabout.
No, it all makes sense. So what's something important? Actually, before I ask you this question, I have another question. What
Mhm.
can you tell people who have the same gift as you do, similar gifts that don't know how to utilize it? People that are clairvoyant, people that are empaths. What can you tell them?
If you want to tap into that gift and navigate that gift and learn it without it being a burden to you because of how sensitive you are, you need to have strong boundaries. You need to be mindful of who you are around because you're so sensitive and you're so open. You're more susceptible to negative stuff being put on you, you carrying it longer, So if you are very gifted and you absorb the energy around you easily, it is more important for you than anyone else to make sure your boundaries are intact and they're strong, especially sometimes like it can be with your own family, usually empaths and sensitive people are placed in family dynamics that are very traumatic and unhealthy. And that's to teach us how to have strong boundaries, like I feel like that's a part of that reason why that happens.
Yeah, I like that. It's definitely a good teaching lesson. That's absolutely agree with you on that part. That's really, because it can get really intense.
So bad, and you can really, if you're around the wrong people, they'll have you doubting yourself so much. They can really pull you away from your purpose. Your circle can pull you so far away from who you're meant to be because a lot of times people are mad that they see that in you. They see that you have a gift. They see that you have that clarity. People think that people get jealous over like superficial stuff, but a lot of times, like I was having people getting mad at me because I was seeing stuff that they couldn't see. You would never even think that would be like something that people would abuse you over, so that taught me to be super mindful on my journey of who I allow near me, especially during times of healing when you're going through deep purging. You do not want to have the wrong people around you during that time. It can be so traumatic, So
thank you. And thank you so much for sharing your gift with us. What's something you want the world to know? Something you feel is really important? Anything, whether it's a belief, whether it's a thought, whether it's your opinion, whatever it is you want to share with the world.
That, don't downplay, don't put so much time and focus on one aspect of your life that you downplay the importance of your mental and emotional and spiritual health. I feel like that's something I see so often. People are so focused on achieving, and that's actually a shadow aspect of Capricorn, is like you can be so caught up in, and I have to know that about myself. That's why I tell people to look at their chart so they can know their shadows, but I feel like a lot of people get so caught up in achievement and doing certain things that they neglect their mental health, they neglect their emotional health and their spiritual health, and that all needs to be nurtured. You won't ever be happy and fulfilled no matter what you achieve if all that stuff is not being,
if it's not aligned.
Because I've met a lot of people that I've seen them achieve some huge things, and once they got up to that accomplishment, they ruined everything because they neglected their mental health and their emotional health and their spiritual health. So I want people to know the importance of that. I think that's the most important message is,
definitely. Thank you so much, Selket. Selket, thanks so much for being on my show on A Little Less Fear. This has been an honor. It's been amazing, and I'm really proud of where you're going and where you're going. And I feel really grateful to have had you on my show. Thank you so much for sharing your spiritual connection with the world and lighting us all up.
Thank you.
Tell our audience how we can find you.
You can find me on Instagram. I spell my name on Instagram differently than I spelled SEL.QET. That's my artist name. I'm also a singer. I will be releasing more music this year if you're interested.
Awesome.
And you can find me on YouTube as well under Empath Oasis. It's one word. It's Empath Oasis channel is easier way to find it if you search it. But yeah, I think that's all that I really have. And I do want to say I love the title of this show.
Thank you.
A lot. I really like this title.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate it. And so if somebody wants to reach out to you for a reading, how do they do that? Do they email you?
Yeah, that's important. Empathoasis.com. I have a website. You can book personal readings with me there. if you've never had a reading and you are curious about it, you want to get your toes wet, I always tell people to visit my YouTube first, because you can do a free reading there. But they are less accurate because they are for the general public. So keep that in mind.
Okay.
But yeah, you can go to my website, empathoasis.com, and you can book a reading with me there.
That's it, everybody. The wise words from Selket. Thank you so much, Selket. I really appreciate your time. And I will
Thank
be
you.
getting readings from you soon because you rock. You rock the house.
Thank you.
Take care now. It was nice chatting with you.
Nice chatting with you.